Morning, it's Harvey Jackson. Just going to get through some news items here. Just looking at ag economics, basically high costs and low revenues in the U.S. and Canada as well. So U.S. agriculture fails. Farmers see big corn acres as best bet to break even. And this article does talk about the ag forum that's up, going to get released with some information here today. It's just using economic numbers. It's not farm polling. It's kind of a nonsense kind of a report, as far as I'm concerned. The market really doesn't use this for anything. They're not going to put these numbers as the acre numbers until the USDA actually releases theirs. So it's economics only, and so let's get into the economics. Corn does get a little bit closer to profitability than soybeans, of course. Just maybe the last little bit of pricing action that we're seeing in some of these commodities, especially the soybeans, is to make it a little bit closer to a encouraging acres, whatever, because the current pricing values don't make sense. Farm market is more political, more of a political football than the corn market right now. That's a quote down here that I thought was pretty interesting because we've been saying that a lot for quite some time that's definitely the case. The corn growers put out a publication as well, just kind of highlighting the where you're going to lose money, and it's growing corn as well, but you have to definitely grow the acres and hope for better prices. And you can see here's your yellow is in the planted acres, and you can see the yield increases that we've seen basically from when we had high acres in the past as well. So you got production and yield marrying up to each other as it climbs here. To follow that theme a bit more here, Josh Linville from StoneX put out a post on X a few days ago. Urea, the second worst ever pricing, UAN, NH3, and phosphate. Here's your phosphate, and here's a couple of your nitrogen costing. Second worst ever pricing ratios right now to corn. Change it up here. China put some more restrictions on 7 rare earth minerals to all countries. That's including U.S. here as well, right? So, but I will say that I've said this all along. You got President Xi here. Trying to make some more trade arrangements with many countries. He already made one with Canada, and that has not made this guy very happy here either. But that said, he can outlast them, that's for sure. And more disturbing news is in our own political front here. Matt Jeneroux switched across the floor. He said he was going to actually take some time off for family. And here, lo and behold, he crosses the floor. Carney flew out there to have a meeting. Some more jet fuel from Ottawa to Edmonton for a 10-minute meeting and then fly back. But there's all kinds of promises that he's made to him. But he's probably going to end up working a little bit harder. But you can see that Jason Kenney, Premier of Alberta for a long time, Liberal, has never been elected in his riding. So this runs against the clear direction of his constituents. And he also said, I also suspect that he's going to have a hard time looking at his constituents in the eye. And many of his new Liberal colleagues will wonder if he can be trusted there. And he also talked about the opposition within his own legislature when he was in power in Alberta, put in if somebody was going to cross the floor, they basically have to run as an independent or resign to run again. And I think that's probably just the way it should be, especially if you've got some of this, that there's never been a Liberal area before. I don't think he's got a chance in heck in Alberta to be able to win. So let's just get into the weather. You got some snow still kind of forming in our area here. And I think this is incorrect. I think we're probably closer to 15 inches right now, snowfall. So it's going to be tough sledding until we get the roads cleared for sure. Moisture in Brazil and Argentina, and the soil moisture anomalies are looking pretty favorable for growing crops and the next crop, of course, and take off more of that harvest as well. So just a quick look at the markets here. Canola is down 270 on both the front month and November. Rapeseed is down $1. Soybean oil is at 58.75, up 0.16 of a penny. Crude oil up $1, and some of that's the reflection of what's going on in Iran. Soybeans 11.35, up a penny and 3/4. Spring wheat is up 2.5 cents. Your Kansas wheat is up 5.5, and Chicago wheat is up 5.75. Canadian dollar is just slightly up as well. So finally pushed up above the 200-day moving average on the front month, and the front month is the one that matters on using the this comparison. But the other thing I want to point out is the long-term retracement value. You're pushing up against that 50% as well, right in this area right here. And same, you're at the 61.8 on the November. Rapeseed, same thing, 61.8 on the long term. The price differential is $104 difference between the European rapeseed and Canadian canola, priced in Canadian dollars. And I might have the freight wrong, but there's I think it's closer to $80 differential from T-Bay to get to Europe, just in freight. So it could be closer to $90 actually, but that cost is not encouraging them to buy a whole lot from us, that's for sure, because of the cost. Soybean oil futures, this is the one that's pulling us all around. It's on the oilseed market, on the canola, it's pulling us up. It's taking a little bit of a pause here today, and the soybeans are up against that 78.6 retracement value. Crude palm oil recovered a little bit off the bottom that was made here, and we'll have to see if that can continue, because it's definitely getting cheaper for some of those sensitive nations that buy oil, India, China. They definitely buy palm oil a lot cheaper than they can buy canola or soybean oil, that's for sure, or soybeans. Here's your crude. So you can say the last 2 weeks have actually had this run up, but we're not even at these values when there was actually more conflict. Canadian dollar is pulling back, even though the U.S. the price of crude is going up. So counterintuitive, if it's a petrodollar, it's not. The U.S. dollar is flip of the Canadian. It's going up. Gold is slightly up as well. The last couple of trades. Same thing with silver. Quick look at wheat. There is some areas of concern in Russia, Ukraine for weather premiums, and when you look at the spring planted, it's really not doing anything. So spring wheat is not really breaking out, but you've got the Kansas breaking out above the 200-day, but it still has to make a higher high. It looks like it might be clearing that hurdle here today. Chicago trying to clear that hurdle as well. Little ways to make a higher high in the last few months here as well. Here's your French milling wheat, corn futures, getting closer to this ceiling basically. And if you look at corn futures on the longer term, you could say that this is the bouncing range that you would see, and we're right in the tops of some of these ranges, or where it's currently trading right now. That's all I have for you today.